Welcome everyone back to the channel. My name is Terrible T, and you're in tune with the weekly rant. All right, so today I want to talk to you about universal phone cages for mobile creators, mobile filmmakers, and things of that sort. I have two cages I want to talk about. The first one that you see before you is the Smallrig universal phone cage, and the second is the Neewer universal phone rig for mobile creators. Now, both are made of durable alloy aluminum material, very sturdy, very strong. Both have handle mounts. They both have quarter screws for mounting all around the cage. The Smallrig cage has 4 cold shoe mounts, whereas the Neewer cage has the same quarter 20, 4 cold shoe mounts on the frame, and then 2 cold shoe mounts on the handles. Now, these are your basic universal cages from Neewer and Smallrig. They do have more advanced ones that come with everything. The only difference in the cages to me is the basic Neewer cage has cold shoe mounts for the handles. The basic Smallrig cage does not. That is the only difference. They both come with Allen wrenches embedded into the bottom of the handles. There's one on each side of the handles that mount in. The same thing with the Smallrig, the Neewer. So I want to talk about setting up either cage and why it's important. It's important because it gives you more stability to film primarily anywhere you need to go. It can be used as an A cam, B cam, a C cam, although some would say you shouldn't use it as an A cam, but I've seen filmmakers use an iPhone 15 Pro Max and legitimately film great movies. I don't remember what the latest 28 Days movie was filmed on, but it was filmed on an iPhone, one of the latest iPhones, using Smallrig cages and other lenses and things like that. But it was filmed primarily on an iPhone. So to get that same quality as a creator or as a filmmaker, you would need some form of cage, whether it be Smallrig or the Neewer cage. Now, with that aside, let's talk about the pricing of the basic cage, which comes with just the handles and the frame itself. The Smallrig cage, at the time that I purchased it, was $55.99 on Amazon. It came with the handles. They have one that's $31, but it's just the cage itself, no handles, nothing else, just the bare cage. The Neewer cage was priced at $47, and it came with the handles. Okay, so that was a selling point for me with the Neewer. I'd already purchased the Smallrig, but then I, dug a little deeper, found Neewer, which I love their products, and I went ahead and bought 2 of these actually. One extra for myself, and then one for my wife when she's doing her videos. But anyway, that is the only gripe I have about these cages. I can't rant about them. I can't nitpick them. They're basic cages that works for any mobile phone. Uh, they're sturdy, they're well built, and that's all I can really say negatively about it is the price. Now, what you see before you is my setup for my filmmaking, my videos, my filmmaking, and things of that nature. Okay, so you have the Smallrig cage, the handles. You have the Smallrig 4-in-1 hub, which is very inexpensive, by the way, but it's a necessity if you want to use a phone system like this and be able to charge your mobile phone as you're recording and have a battery pack and have any other USB-C type accessories. You also are going to need an external hard drive. I use the Oracle uh, 1 terabyte hard drive. There are Samsung T7, T9s, which are great. I just prefer using this one because it's smaller, more compact, more accessible. We'll talk about this later because I film on an iPhone 12 Pro Max and this is needed, but I will talk about that later. As far as power goes, powering my system, I use a Neewer V-mount battery along with the Neewer V-mount plate with the Arca Swiss base to it. I could use the a power bank, a good decent power bank, but I feel more comfortable with this because I can have more accessible things plugged in here because it has multiple ports for USB A, USB C. It has DTAP on this side. I don't remember what these plugs are called here, but you have power. Okay, these are your AC and DC adapters. And on the bottom, you also have other ports that I don't know what they for, and I probably will never use them. Okay, but this battery has a very long power cycle, so you can film all day and still have 37% left once you're done. And it's a fast charging system, so you plug it into the wall, boom, you're charged back up to 100% within less than an hour, give or take. Then with the Smallrig cage, I had to get an additional USB mount adapter. Very good product, very needed. Okay, because you can mount this on the handle here in any one of these holes to mount any accessories you want. You can mount it on your bottom of the quarter shoe here, or you can mount it on the top if you have room. Okay, so that's a very necessity to me. That's very necessary. You also have what I also have is the Smallrig um, SSD mount. I don't use it for the SSD because I have the Neewer V-mount battery with the Neewer V-mount plate. So this is going to be utilized for either an additional phone or some other accessory. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but it will be used. I have this little USB-C chargeable light. It's very bright. You have one cycle there, 2, 3, and then the brightest one 4. And hit it again, it's going to flash at you. Okay. Very good light. Lasts very long, for a long time, and it's small but powerful. I have two of those. One there, and I have the other one here. Same thing. The only downside of these lights is that you cannot control the color temperature. What you see is basically what you get. This here is a plate that I use to mount to the bottom of the V-mount plate to attach it to my Neewer um, desktop tripod. And I also have it to mount to my standard regular size heavy duty tripod from Neewer. I love Neewer products. If you can't tell, I love Neewer. Um, they are great products. I've always used them. Even I use them with my digital cameras, my DSLRs. I use a lot of their products. So this is the kit that I use. With my iPhone 12 Pro Max, I also use a ND filter magnetic case or magnetic plate to mount a 67mm ND filter or whatever filter I want to put on here, blue mist, whatever. And it mounts directly to the back of the phone magnetically, and it allows me to add an ND filter in order to film outside in bright light or to get that cinematic feel, cinematic shot that most of us creators and filmmakers are looking for. So that's going to be the basics of both of these cages. I will do another video here shortly, putting it together and showing you what it's about, how it looks, and then I'll give you a shot of what it looks like once it's put together. All right. So until next time, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you choose to. If not, hey, I understand. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. This is the Weekly Rant. See you on the next video. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Terrible T. Thank you for joining us with the Weekly Rant. My last video, I was discussing to you about the differences between the Smallrig cage and the Neewer cage. This is how everything would be set up for the Smallrig cage with the 4-in-1 hub, the flash pod or SSD, the light, the SSD holder, the V-mount battery with the Neewer V-mount plate with the Arca Swiss bottom and things of that nature. And this is the phone that's in it now. This is not what I use to film with. This is the Samsung A16, which is a decent phone. It just lacks a lot of capabilities. With the iPhone, I use Blackmagic camera app, which is a great app. It has a lot of features that you can control your shutter speed, your ISO, and things of that nature. Allows you to switch between cameras very fast, and you can record in 4K ProRes with the external drive on most iPhones. I don't think the iPhone 12 Max, actually I know it doesn't have log, but you can shoot and get that cinematic film look if you know what you're doing. Okay, so this is how it's set up for a traditional iPhone with a C plug mount, USB-C. However, if you are using an iPhone that has the Lightning port, in order to get this set up this way with the 4-in-1 hub, this little gadget here is also made by Oracle. It is an adapter for Lightning to USB-C that will plug into the back of your iPhone. You would then plug in the Oracle Flash Pod into here, and then you plug this into your phone, plug the USB hub into here, then plug your Oracle into the USB hub as you see there. Okay, so we'll go in like this. The hub will go into here. The flash pod will go into the 4-in-1 hub. Power comes to everything. Boom, you're set to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. My phone is acting crazy, doesn't want to record properly, I guess. So I'm going to sign off today. I'll be back next week with another video. Thank you for joining us. If this found this helpful, send a like, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.